driver of the number 11 FedEx Toyota. And, this is what we loved about Denny, is a couple of years ago, he said, can I stop by? I want to bring a driving simulator here. And we're going, all right. So he comes to a little town of Milford and brings in a simulator, and a high-end simulator, by the way. And that didn't pass inspection, just like your car at Daytona. So there's a little, there's a habit going on here. First of all, how does your car fail inspection there?
Pushing the rules. I mean,
did you have anything to do? Did you know what was going on?
No.
You never know what's going on.
Realistically, our issue, and I'm not going to sit here and defend it. I could be here all day trying to defend it, but our track bar ended up too high on the right-hand side. But that happens during the course of a race. It'll work its way up. It's just our long qualifying, different formats. We're running more laps than what we ever have in qualifying, so it worked its way to a bad spot.
If it's not on purpose, then why are you penalized?
Because it is an advantage.
Could you alter your car so it would rise up in the course of just qualifying?
Oh, absolutely. But you have to, if you're going to qualify up front, which we ended up doing, you're going to have to go back through an inspection. And when it did, it was like, whoa, it's a little too high.
So when your crew chief comes to you, how does your crew chief break the news that all that great work you did and it doesn't mean anything?
Through text message.
Wait, can't even do it face to face or over the phone?
I was already on my way up to New York. So
okay.
He's like, by the way, you're going to have to start in the back on Thursday. Sorry about that.
Does it matter?
My response was, it's a challenge. I love it.
Okay, but this is a dangerous race, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
restrictors, plates. So this does it make it even tougher, given that it's already a dangerous race and you're starting from the back, so you might have to take a few more chances?
Absolutely, and it's the biggest race of the season for us. Daytona 500. This is it. Our biggest race, unless you're in the championship battle at Homestead. This is our biggest race coming up next weekend. Next Sunday is Daytona 500. So, there's a lot of time, a lot of effort put into this particular week.
Would you rather that it was held, let's say, mid-season, the biggest race?
That's been a debate for many years, whether our NASCAR's biggest race should be moved back. But, I mean, it's been there for 50 years. Why change it now? I think it's the most watched event that we have all year long. So, probably should stay where it's at.
So just to get that recognition right now, and it's sort of a dead time in sports, there's nothing really major on the line. Mm-hmm. So you do get to own the weekend. And I guess that it's important to start the season.
No question. Our momentum comes in our sport from viewership, and it comes early. And so I think that it definitely, you have to get off to a good start with our sport as far as the viewership is concerned. And I think that Daytona 500 is that platform where we can do that.
How'd you get discovered?
Oh, wow. It's a long story. I mean, I used to work at Subway, so a long, long time ago. But
wait, you were an artist, a sandwich artist?
I did. I had my shirt that says sandwich artist. My mom still has that shirt.
What was your go-to sandwich at Subway?
Oh, tuna.
Yeah,
tuna.
You killed?
I killed tuna sub. Actually, it sounds bad, but I actually lost like 40 pounds on the Subway diet.
Wait, you were Jared before Jared?
I was Jared before Jared. Yes, no question.
Why didn't they ever sponsor you?
Ask them that question. I don't know. I've been trying to work on that.
We got one downstairs. That's the original Subway. That's the first one.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's the first one.
That's pretty amazing.
Okay, so you got discovered at a Subway sandwich shop?
No, I literally, I'd won. I was driving for a guy named Jim Dean in 2002 and won 25 out of 35 short track races that I raced in, and literally Joe Gibbs Racing kind of saw that. They hired me, and I just took one step at a time. It's a long story, but like every opportunity I was given, I finished in the top 10. They gave me a truck ride. I finished in the top 10 my first time. Then they're like, all right, well, let's just move up to Xfinity Series. We're previously nationwide. Finished top 10 my very first time. Next thing you know, the FedEx car was not performing at a super high level in 2005. They got rid of the crew chief, got rid of the driver, and I literally read on the internet that I was going to be driving the FedEx car for the remainder of the year. And I look at it, I was like, wow, okay, so I'm getting all these calls and texts, and they're like, yeah, so we're going to get you to drive the final 7 races. And I qualified on the pole and ran really well. I think I finished, where did I finish my first race? It was top 10. No, it was Kansas. So I had a flat tire. Then I finished top 10 the next week.
But I thought you were great on a simulator.
So I was.
Were you going against Dale Jr. on a simulator?
Me and Dale Jr. raced a lot on simulators on what is now iRacing. We raced on NASCAR 2003, and just he actually invited me down to to Daytona in 2004 when he won the Daytona 500, and I was just a guest of his. And literally, the only time I've ever held the Daytona 500 trophy is I was in Victory Lane with him, and he was like, "Hey, take this back to my bus for me." So I'm carrying this Daytona 500 trophy in 2004. Try not to drop it. I'm nervous, is all, and I'm, the next year or 2 years later, I'm actually racing Daytona 500.
What was Junior's handle when you were doing the simulators? Didn't he have a fake name?
Yeah. Oh, Unical 76 or Unical something.
Oh.
Unical, yeah.
Oh, okay. So nothing really risque or anything like that.
No.
Can you have dialogue? Can you yell at each other when you're racing on the simulator?
We have
your headsets
team
on?
chat and whatnot that you can yell at each other.
So trash talking?
Absolutely. It's part of what racing is.
Would you like if your headset was hooked up to other drivers where you're actually able to yell at them during a race?
Ooh.
And who would you yell at?
Whoever's right in front of me.
Well, no, there's some guys you like that they... Are there guys you like? Are there more guys you like or dislike?
I'm going to say... I'll say like more than dislike, but it's close.
If Brad Keselowski's in front of you?
Dislike.
Does anybody like Brad Keselowski?
His parents, probably.
Are you sure? All right, we'll come back. More with Denny Hemlin, driver of the number 11 FedEx Toyota that didn't pass inspection, but Denny had nothing to do with it. He has no idea how that possibly happened. Daytona 500 coming up this Sunday, and Denny gets to start all the way in the back with Dale Jr. Some good company back there.
Yeah, I'll just follow him, or he can follow me.
That'd be nice. For a little while.
For a little while.
Could you survive the fan base that Junior has? How tough is it to live up to that or entertain that? Because there's very few fan bases in all of sports that are up there with Junior.
Yeah, and, I don't know that, people give Junior a lot of stuff all the time about, his fan base and whatnot, but
jealous?
It's not something he asked for.
Yeah.
It's not something that he seeks the attention to get. It happened. His dad was a famous race car driver, and he followed in his footsteps. And when people see Junior, they see his dad. So immediately, when his dad lost his life, I just his fans migrated to his son.
How many people? If you said a percentage of fans who show up to see crashes in NASCAR,
realistically, I'd say probably 20%. 25%, I'd say, actually, they want to see the crashes. They want to see fire and sparks, and that's part of it. We it's just like hockey. How many of those fans go to see the fights? And lately, NASCAR's kind of been a little bit of mix of both.
Worst crash you've ever been in?
Worst crash for me is definitely when, I fractured my back 2 years ago at Fontana. Hit a part of the wall that wasn't a safer barrier, and that was, I knew immediately I was in big trouble. Couldn't breathe for a few minutes.
Were they worried about paralysis?
I was close. I was very, very close to having major and permanent issues, but luckily got out of it.
Okay. Then you say to your wife, "Hey, I want to get back in the car." Like, what's that discussion like at home?
It's fairly easy.
And you have a child now, so
yeah. I mean, well, that was a little. That's the tough part about it. Is my daughter was just a couple months old at the time that I had that incident, and I mean, it's tough because it puts things in perspective for sure, especially when you have to sit out and watch your car go around the racetrack with somebody else driving it, it's not a pleasant feeling. And for me, the competitor, I want to get back at it and get going. But of course, there's an element of safety there that, the reason I had to sit out is the doctor said, look, you take one more hit and you're not fully healed, it could be bad. So, it's still part of our sport.
Best fight you've been in?
Best fight?
And you guys break them up too soon, so.
I know. Well, the crew guys get in it.
Yeah.
Which that's going to be addressed in NASCAR, I feel like, in the next few years of making sure let's let the drivers handle it. And my opinion is you know what? Let's make it like hockey. If we go to the ground, it's over. Like, no crew guys can be involved. When the drivers hit the floor, it's over. So
okay, I said to Tony Stewart, why don't we just have an octagon at every race? So you want to settle, you go into the octagon, nobody else is in there. It's you against whoever.
All right. Well, Texas Motor Speedway has that same thing. They actually put a ring out and they have boxing gloves, so they're like, they invite anybody. Hey, come after the race to punch it out with whoever you want to.
Okay, you had a great fight?
I really haven't had a great fight, honestly. Every time I kind of go in, somebody's ripping me back.
Wait, who did you want a piece of?
I wanted a piece of Brad for a while.
Kozlowski.
Yeah.
Okay, explain this Kurt Busch situation to me. So he had like his ex-girlfriend was a secret agent or spy?
I think so.
An assassin? Did you ever see her with blood on her clothes?
I did not.
You did not. Okay.
I didn't. However, there's an interesting YouTube clip called Pocket Commando that you can watch, and it's a little background on her, I guess.
Did you meet her?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've met her, talked to her. And
did you ever think she could be a secret agent?
You know what? I think that she's a tough girl, for sure.
Could she take you?
With a weapon.
Well, I hear she's packing. So she's going to have a weapon on her, Denny.
Okay, yes, she could.
She could take you?
No question.
Yeah. But do you believe that story?
Man, I don't know. The whole thing, I don't know.
But he's all in on that story.
Well, you got to once you say it, you got to sell it.
Best partier. Driver only.
Oh, Clint Boyer.
Really?
Yeah.
Not even close.
The guy lives on 5 Hour Energy. What can you say?
You 10 years ago?
I could have gave him a run for my money. I could have gave him a run for his money years and years ago. No question.
Have you ever drove hungover?
Hungover?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does that? Oh boy, and you're in that.
It's awful.
Yeah. You ever throw?
Not raced.
Oh,
I never raced.
Qualify?
No, but during test sessions, hungover, yes, but
never thrown up.
Not in the car, no, never.
Look at you, professional.
Always.
All-Star game this weekend. So what?
Yeah,
you went to. Did you go to the game last night?
I did. I did.
Okay.
It's a bit of a quiet crowd though. Like, you've been to a lot of different All-Star games or just a basketball game. Like, you can't even get a chant of defense.
Well, there was no defense.
I know. But
wait, were you the guy asking for defense last night, Denny?
No, but I'm sitting there and I'm just like, well, everybody's holding side conversations, and you look, you're not even hardly watching it because you're like, the crowd goes, oh, somebody dunked. Like, that's what gets the crowd going, or Steph Curry makes a ridiculous assist or something.
Well, what
like that.
happens is you have people who are corporate people who got the seat, so you don't get the regular fan who's there.
It's true.
And they're just they want to be there to tell people they went there. They're not there, I don't think, for the event itself as much as they want to tell you they were there for the event.
Is the Super Bowl just like that?
Yeah. You never been to a Super Bowl?
No, I have, but I'm asking is...
Yes, very similar.
But there's teams, there's people cheering in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Where
that's different.
The NBA All-Star Game, it really wasn't. It was a quiet event.
But a lot of the people who get the Super Bowl seats are not from Seattle or New England because they can't afford it. And you get people who are corporate, get those seats, and therefore you sort of have antiseptic type feel. It's not like that college atmosphere where it's in that finish. Although I will say the Seattle fans were unbelievably loud in that final 2 minutes. Unbelievably.
So
Great fan base.
So I went to the Super Bowl. Well, I take that back. I was in Phoenix for the Super Bowl. I didn't actually go to the event. All I saw was Seattle fans.
Yes.
Until actual game day
Yeah.
was the first day that I saw a New England fan.
He's Denny Hemlin, driver of the number 11 FedEx Toyota. Could you train? How long would it take you to train me to drive? What would I have to be able to do where you could say, you know what? I could put you out there at 180 miles an hour.
I could put you out there, but you're going to hit something.
Okay, how long would it take you to train me, though? Just where...
You have to, you know what? The great ones started when they were 8 years old. I mean, 8 till, 25 years. Let's just say 25 years.
But what do I have to have when I get in that car?
Just the feel. It's the...
Is it like riding a horse?
There's something in our ass that makes us feel the edge. We can feel the edge of the car where a normal person doesn't.
So a great driver has a great ass.
Absolutely.
Okay. I did not know that. I have no ass. Tony Stewart has a great ass.
So is Danica.
Is Danica a great driver?
She's a good driver. She's only been in NASCAR a few years. So.
Will she? Okay. Can she be a great driver?
Can she be?
Yeah.
Yes.
Will she be?
If she gets enough time.
What does that mean?
Means I think she faces a lot of pressure.
She's not a kid.
No, but I think that, it's a matter of whether people give her the time to become great.
Well, the expectation level is pretty high.
Very.
Yeah. And I said that to her when, she was going to do NASCAR. And I said, they're going to expect you to be great. You don't get this, let me ease in. Whereas everybody else gets a little bit of that ease in period. She's not going to get that. Could you take Casey Kane?
Absolutely.
Okay. Could Danica take Casey Kane?
Ooh, that'd be a close cat fight.
You think so?
Yeah.
A cat fight. I might take Danica.
It'd be close.
She's tough. Like she walks in, she's...
No, I
she
know.
walks in with attitude.
No, I get it.
Casey does.
Well, she's been around guys her whole life.
Yes.
She's a racer, so...
It's got to be a tough fraternity to walk into, right?
No question.
You guys are tough.
You ought to hear the conversations she walks into. Let's move on.
Does she join in those conversations?
Absolutely.
She does. Oh,
yes.
I love that. All right, so you can't train me basically to drive, right?
Not, you're going to be, your sight will be bad. You'll be old and real old.
Yeah. Could I work in your pit?
Yes, you
I
could do that. No, well, not a pit crew member.
Okay.
All those guys are, football players.
They're athletes.
Yeah, no doubt.
What about windshield cleaning?
All right, we could let you do
How
that.
about I hand you a drink?
Yeah, you could do that.
Wait, that's on just a little stick, right?
No, well, sometimes they actually jump out and hand it to you.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Are you in a good mood? Like, would you be snapping at me if I handed you something to drink? Like, do you pull into the pit and like nobody wants to be around you?
No,
okay.
I'm pleasant.
So
There's some guys that are not pleasant, but I'm pleasant.
So if I give you like a moist towelette or something, something like that. No? I just don't want you yelling at me.
Just clean my windshield and get back over the wall.
It's always great to have you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's we love it because you're honest, you're fun. Denny Hemlin, driver of the number 11 FedEx Toyota. He didn't do anything wrong. It was probably his crew chief who did it. So he starts in the back of Daytona coming up this weekend. Is that the story? That's what we're going with, Denny?
That's it.
That's what we're going with.